Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking back at a pretty big moment from 5 years ago. Remember the Gina Carano firing from the Mandalorian?
Yeah, it caused quite a stir. Our mission today is to really unpack the sources around it. The original post, sure, but also these claims of hypocrisy against Disney and Lucasfilm.
Right, and what the sources suggest this all meant for, Star Wars business and creative path.
Exactly. It goes way beyond just one social...
Okay, so let's start there. With the post itself, it's gone now. But what did the sources say was actually in that Instagram story that lit the fuse?
Well, it reportedly showed an image connected to the persecution of Jews historically. The text apparently argued that horrible things don't just happen because of soldiers, but that neighbors, even kids, participated because, as the post claimed, history is edited. And then it sort of ended by asking, well, how is hating someone for their politics different from hating Jewish people back then?
Wow. Okay. And the reaction, according to the sources, was instant and, completely split down the middle, wasn't it?
Absolutely. You had one camp saying, look, she's making a valid point about how dehumanization works, how it starts. That's the interpretation presented in some...
And the other side?
The other side argued she was basically equating being a Republican today with being Jewish during the Holocaust. A direct, and they felt, offensive comparison.
So from that specific post, the sources immediately pivot, don't they? Straight into accusations of corporate hypocrisy.
They do. The central theme that comes through in a lot of the material is this idea of a double standard, that Disney or Lucasfilm came down much harder on Carano because of her perceived politics.
Right.
While looking the other way or even defending others.
Okay, let's talk examples cited in the sources.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal, her co-star, comes up a lot, doesn't he?
He does. Sources point out he apparently posted memes comparing Trump supporters to Nazis and used an image, reportedly doctored, comparing kids at the U.S. border to Holocaust.
And the argument presented is same kind of comparison, different politics, zero consequences for him.
That's the core of the hypocrisy claim regarding Pascal, yes. But it wasn't just him. The sources also bring up James Gunn.
The director. Rehired by Disney for Marvel films.
Correct. Despite past social media posts that sources described as joking about really sensitive topics like rape and pedophilia, the argument was, how does that get a pass while Carano's post gets her fired? It seemed inconsistent to the critics cited.
And the sources connect this internal stuff to Disney's bigger global actions, too. That seems like a leap.
Well, the connection they draw is about selective outrage. They highlight Disney filming Mulan near Xinjiang, facing accusations of collaborating with security services linked to alleged genocide, and apparently ignoring concerns about forced labor. The sources basically ask, how can you fire an actress over a historical analogy while potentially overlooking major human rights? They frame it as showing a political bias in where Disney directs its moral energy.
And then there were others at Lucasfilm itself. The sources mentioned writers or hosts.
Yeah, people like Christina Ariel, who hosted a High Republic show, and author Justina Ireland. Sources characterized some of their social media posts as racist against white people.
And Disney's reaction? According
to the materials, Disney defended them publicly. They even labeled the critics raising concerns as racist themselves. So the sources we reviewed really paint a picture of a deliberate pattern, concluding it was a clear political double standard.
Which brings us to the business side of it. This whole episode became Exhibit A for that get woke, go broke argument you hear sometimes.
Exactly. That argument basically says companies prioritizing certain politics over their customers, well, they pay a price. And the context here is The Mandalorian wasn't just a show.
No, it was huge.
Right. The sources say it was 5 times more popular than anything else on Disney+. Basically the cornerstone propping up the whole streaming service at the time. A service, some sources now claim, is struggling with subscribers.
And the irony. Creatively speaking, Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm's head, famously pushed for the Force is female, wanting strong female characters. Yet Cara Dune, Carano's character, was arguably one of the most popular, strongest female characters they'd had in years, created by Jon Favreau's team, who the sources often describe as less overtly political or more fan-focused.
And that popularity is central to what some sources called a civil war inside Lucasfilm. Firing Carano looked, to some, like leadership choosing political alignment over a proven hit character and actress.
Alienating the very audience that made the show successful.
Precisely. It seemed to confirm, for critics, that they were willing to damage their biggest asset, potentially, maybe to send a political message or appease one faction over the fan base driving this success.
So wrapping this up, our deep dive really highlights a clash over speech, sure, but also about how corporations apply their own rules and the, real-world business fallout when maybe you alienate your core supporters.
Which leaves a question for you, the listener, to think about. If a company finds massive success, like with The Mandalorian, driven by a specific creative loyal audience, what's the actual long-term cost when corporate decisions seem to actively undermine that success? Maybe by firing popular stars or calling fans toxic? Where does that friction eventually